trying to remember how it all happened. The events leading up to the moment where I realized what was going on. Welcome back, everybody. Happy Sunday. It's Morgan from the very unofficial travel guides, and you know what it means if I'm sitting here. It's time for a Sunday story time. I asked you guys this morning on my Facebook, what would you rather see next? Another video from my cruising with the Med, because I just got off of the, or cruising in the Med. Why is it sometimes so hard to just make a full sentence, Morgan? So I asked you if you wanted to see another cruising video from my recent cruise in the Med, or if you would rather have a Sunday story time. And I didn't actually make a count, but just by looking at the comments, it really looks like you guys would prefer a Sunday story time. I know somebody wrote, it's a tradition, don't break the tradition. And somebody else wrote, it's very nice to get to know you better. And so I'm doing a story time for you. And the story I'm gonna tell today is about my bodyguard. All right, I have reached a point now in YouTube success, I guess you could say, that pretty much every time I go on a cruise or go to Disney, at least one person recognizes me. I mean, maybe more people recognize me, but at least one person talks to me. On the Freedom of the Seas, back in, when was that? Well, a couple months ago, when we were on the Freedom of the Seas, it happened quite often, like at least 5 or 6 times. And recently on the Epic, it happened a couple times. And I'm happy that it's always really cool, and it's always really cool to meet you. And I mean, there are other people who have so many more followers than me, and that's why I'm surprised that it happens to me as often as it does. But I'm happy every time it does happen, that somebody comes up to me and says, hey, I recognize you from YouTube, or what a lot of people say all the time is, are you that guy from YouTube? So that's funny. I think people forget exactly what it is they saw, but they know my face and they know that they saw me on YouTube. I don't know. And then if they meet me on a cruise ship, it all sort of fits together, I guess. But so I've been really happy that every time it's been really cool, and I know that other YouTubers have a big problem with it. Other YouTubers are like huge celebrities. They can't really just go out and have a normal life because so many people recognize them and their life is influenced by that level of celebrity. And I'm pretty happy that that's not what it's like for me. I'm not saying I wouldn't like to be hugely successful like, you know, Mamrie Hart or Grace Helbig or Hannah Hart or Tyler Oakley, or, you know, name them all, whoever you wish. But I'm happy that my life is not as crazy as theirs is. Does that make sense? All right. So, but I wanted to tell you the story about about a time where somebody thought that I had a bodyguard, and it kind of fits into my recent cruise because it has to do with Andreas, the friend of mine that I went on this cruise with. Let's rewind way, way back. We need to go back about 17 years. That is when this happened. I can't believe it's been 17 years. Oh my gosh. Time flies, and then you get old. Andreas and I have known each other for almost 18 years. In fact, maybe it is around 18 years. A long time, much longer than I've known Marcus. He's really one of my oldest buddies. We've known each other for so long. I was best man in his wedding, and I'm sure if Marcus and I ever get married, he will probably be my best man. I don't know, let's not talk about that. That's not what this video is about. He was single, I was single, and we used to travel a lot together. And in fact, if you look at the oldest video on my channel, this stupid little video of me riding in this boat at an amusement park in Sweden, Andreas is the person holding the camera. So that's how far we go back. And that is, yeah, I mean, he's been with me for a lot of adventures. Gosh, I'm so sorry that I can never just sit down and tell the story. I always go off on these tangents, and sometimes it bothers me. I feel like it's so distracting. Sometimes I'm amazed that I even finish a video because I have so many tangents. Adventure, Andreas and I, we booked a trip to go to Las Vegas and Los Angeles. And it was the first time that I had ever been to Las Vegas or Los Angeles, and it was Andreas's first time ever going to the United States. He's German. He lives here in Germany. Hold on, I got something in my teeth. Sorry. Hold on. Yeah, I think it's gone now. Excuse me. All right, so we had booked this huge trip to Las Vegas and Los Angeles. And to give you an idea of like what time frame it was way before everybody had smartphones. It was way before everybody had like, like a permanent internet connection or something like that. I remember because my mom sent me travel books from AAA to help plan the trip. And I looked at what hotel to book and where we were going to stay in like a book, like an actual book with paper and not on the internet. That's how long ago it was. And that's how much time has changed since then. So we stayed in the Boardwalk Hotel, which has long been since replaced by the fantastic, what's it called? We just stayed there. The Cosmopolitan Resort in Vegas. And we had a good time in Vegas, and then we went to Los Angeles. Or did we go to Los Angeles first? I think we went to Los Angeles first. Anyways, this happened in Los Angeles. Gosh, can I just get to the story? We went to the Magic Castle. The Magic Castle, if you don't know what that is it's a venue in an old, gigantic mansion close to Hollywood Boulevard. And it's basically like a private club for magicians or for people who are into watching magic. And it's a really, really special place. And on one hand, I wish more people knew about it. And on the other hand, I'm glad that not that many people know about it, because if it became like a huge tourist attraction, it would lose a lot of its charm. Anyways, you can't just go there and buy a ticket and get in. You have to either be a guest of somebody performing there, a member of the Magic Castle Society, or you have to be invited by one of those two people. Or, and I don't know if this is the way it is anymore, but at least back then, the Magic Castle had its own hotel. Like there was like this very small, like Melrose Place apartment building next to it, and they had like suites in there. And so if you booked a suite at this place, you were automatically allowed to visit the Magic Castle. And that's what we did. So we booked a suite there. It was really nice. It was like, I mean, I can recommend staying there. I have no videos or photos of it because it was so long ago, and this was way before I started making videos like I make now. But that's how we got into the Magic Castle. All right. So remember, it's like a private place, and people can also book, I think, like company picnics there and stuff. Like if you pay enough money, you can get in as well. And I'm trying to put the pieces together about what was important to what happened. So one thing about the Magic Castle is you have to be dressed up. There's a strict dress code. So Andreas and I were both wearing full-on suits. And I was wearing a brown pinstripe suit that I had bought just to go to the Magic Castle, I think, because I probably didn't have a suit at that time. Like where the pants matched the blazer or the jacket. And Andreas, I think, only had a black suit. Definitely, he was in a black suit with a black shirt and a black tie. And Andreas, you'll see little shots of him in my upcoming videos about the cruise on the Epic because he was with me. Andreas is close to 6 feet tall, and his shoulders are like this wide, and he's just one of these people that if you don't know him, when you meet him or when you see him, he looks, I mean, he's like an American football player, I guess. He's just like a muscly, meaty guy, and he doesn't necessarily have like, how can I say it? He has very like strong facial features and sort of kind of bitchy resting face. And it's, if you know him, like I know him, he is one of the nicest, sweetest, gentlest, straight guys that I know. Probably he is that. Picture this tall, muscly, bald German guy in a black suit. Okay, so, and then picture me in my fancy, tailored, brown pinstripe suit that I bought just for this occasion. That's important to this factor. So we go to the Magic Castle, and everybody else there like knows each other, or they're there like on, you know, like a company picnic function or something. And I think in a night, there's probably like, I want to say 200, 300 people all together in this place. It's all, I mean, it's huge for what it is. And there's like 4 or 5 different performance venues inside. You know, some of them sit like 20 people, some of them fit like 30 people, and then there's a bigger room that maybe fits like 99 people. And then there's a couple bars and a little like restaurant area, and you sort of rotate from area to area. That's how it works. We show up there, and Andreas is, you know, walking behind me in his black suit with his bald head, and, you know, never been in the United States before, can speak pretty good English, but is having a hard time just sort of like adjusting. And so he's standing behind me the whole time, listening to what I'm saying, and, you know, like trying to, you know, take it all in and not be like an active participant just because it's all new to him. And we check in and we go to dinner, and then we want to go to the first show, and it's already like full. And it was one of the artists, one of the magicians that I really wanted to see, Joshua J. And I remember asking, there's like this maitre d' woman who checked us in originally, and she happened to come by, and she's like, "Oh, hi Morgan, how you doing? Are you having a good time?" And I said, "Oh yeah, well, we're having a good time. We just finished dinner, and now I wanted to go in and see Joshua J, but it's already full, and so we'll have to try to get one of his later shows, but then we're gonna have to," like I had the whole itinerary set up in my head, surprise, surprise, of who I wanted to see when, in order to see as many of the artists that were there that night as possible. And she was like, "Oh, okay, wait, let me see what I can do." And the show was gonna start in like 2 minutes, and she went away and came back, and she's like, "Follow me, you guys." And she had literally like set up 2 extra chairs in the front row for just us. And it was kind of uncomfortable because literally everybody else was already sitting there in this performance space, and then she walked us in and had these 2 extra chairs sitting there, and then we sat there. And it was so weird. But I was like, hey, well, great, you know, I'm happy that we got a place. And then when the show was over, she was waiting for us outside, and she's like, "Did you enjoy it? I hope you had a good time. What's next on your plans?" And I told her, "Well, yeah, we want to go see the big show in the main room. I don't remember what it's called right now." And I said, "So we need to figure out, we're probably going to get a drink, and then we'll go there and try to find a seat." And she's like, "You know what? Come with me right now, and we'll get you a seat already." And I was like, "Okay." And so we went in there and like picked out a seat, and I was like, I don't mind. I don't want to sit in the front row. I mean, we can sit anywhere. I don't really mind." And she's like, "Well, whatever you need, you just let me know." And these kind of things like happened a couple times that night. And I was like, gosh, they're so nice here. And you know, I feel so, they're going out of their way to make us feel so special somehow. And I thought, you know, how nice that they do this for everybody. And I can understand why it's such a successful like private club. But then I figured it out later why they were being so nice to just me. All right, fast forward. So it's getting late. And like I said, Andreas is a really friendly, fun guy. But when you're in a country for the first time and you're not used to speaking the language, I don't know, he just got tired and sort of overwhelmed. And he was like, "I'm going to go back to the room and we'll see each other later." And I was cool with that, of course. I mean, we're both grown-ups. And then, I'm trying to remember how it all happened. The events leading up to the moment where I realized what was going on. I sat down at the bar to have a drink and talked to one of the older gentlemen there, who was a member of the Magic Castle Society or whatever it's called. By the way, Neil Patrick Harris is the president of the Magic Castle Society, so that gives you an idea of what it's like. This guy was asking me questions about what I do for a living and who I am, and I was telling him, I mean, at the time I was working for Stage Entertainment and Little Star Productions on the German premiere production of Mamma Mia. And, I told him, yeah, I'm an actor living, I grew up in the United States. I'm working as an actor in Germany, and things are going really well. And I'm, here on vacation and just happy to, to have the opportunity to be here. And he was like, well, we're so happy to have you here. And it's so nice to, to be able to show you around. And I was like, gosh, everybody's so nice here. And then, I don't know. And then I got in line for another performance and got into conversation with somebody else who also was like a Magic Castle member, and also asking me these questions about things that attributed to my success, and I should be happy to be so successful at such a young age. And I was like, God, what is going on here? This is starting to get weird. I mean, yeah, things are going well, but something's strange. And so what it is people thought, well, wait a second. Remember that this is like long before that everybody had a smartphone or something, and you couldn't like Google somebody, 17 years ago, or no, I don't even think there was Google back then. Was there? I don't know. But it wasn't so easy to find information about people like it is now. I mean, now it's like totally easy. So I was in this conversation with this guy, and when I was waiting in line, it went the same way, telling me how happy I should be to be so successful. And then he asked me, well, we're so happy to have you here, and happy that you feel comfortable enough that you sent your bodyguard home, and now you can just relax and enjoy everything for what it is. And I was like, my what? He's like, yeah, that guy, that's your bodyguard, right? I laughed so hard. Just thinking of Andreas being my bodyguard, but when I thought about what it looks like, that we show up there and I say, I'm an actor from Germany, and I'm very excited to be here at the Magic Castle to be your guest, and then I've got this tall, like kind of mean-looking German guy in a black suit with a black tie following me around all night. I can see how they sort of put two and two together and created that story. And I mean, it's a funny story, but it was definitely not true. Andreas is not my bodyguard. I don't need a bodyguard. I didn't need one that night. But that's a story that Andreas and I laugh about very often. And we use it as an inside joke in a lot of different situations. So yeah. I don't need a bodyguard. I've never really felt like I needed one, and I really hope that I don't need one unless I'm making like millions, and then I guess it's worth it. But that's not anywhere close to happening, at least not this month. Maybe next month. Who knows? Things can change so quickly. That is my story time for you about the time that I thought I needed or that people thought I had a bodyguard. If you watching this right now are a member of the Magic Castle, please get in touch with me, because I'm just fascinated by that place, and it's always good to have connections. And I don't know, maybe people are still talking about the visit of that German actor with his bodyguard. I don't know. Probably not. I'm Morgan from the Very Unofficial Travel Guides. Follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done that already, because there's going to be more videos coming up of my Mediterranean cruise with my bodyguard, Andreas, and other things like that. How about a secret word? Secret word is quilt, because my stepmom is an amazing quilt maker, and she made me this quilt, and it's so soft and cuddly, and it's right here outside of the frame. Usually it's here, but I took it away for the video because this looks better without the quilt. But Linda, if you're watching this, and you're probably not, but if you are, I really love this quilt, and I thank you so much for making it. And that's the secret word, quilt. Have fun.